Hello, Cancer, and thank you for joining me here today at Destiny Guided Tarot. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. As a general reading, it cannot resonate for everyone, so just take what fits and throw the rest away. You can also watch your other placements. If you're not sure what those are, you can find out for free at Cafe Astrology. I have linked that for you below in the description box. So let's get started. So these are messages for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for January, beginning the first week. Got some cards upside down here. Just a moment. Okay. So messages, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for Cancer for the first week of January. Begin with the Six of Wands, and then the King of Cups, Five of Wands, Ace of Swords, and one more please. January 1st, or first week for Cancer. One more card, please. Four of Swords popped up. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we got. I'm just going to adjust that a little. There we go. So let's see. All right, so we're going to begin. There we go. With the Six of Wands. It's a moment of visible success or recognition. It's our victory card, right? So this is the chapter where others are going to see your effort paying off. Perhaps praise at work, maybe winning an argument that you've been quietly preparing for, or finally being acknowledged for emotional or creative labor that you've carried for a while. It may feel like a personal victory, but it's also public. People will notice. And then you're going to be stepping into that spotlight. The King of Cups suggests that how you handle this success matters as much as the success itself. You've called to lead the emotional maturity, or with emotional maturity, compassion, and balance. Rather than gloating or reacting impulsively, you keep your composure. For example, you might accept praise gracefully while staying empathetic to others who are still struggling. Or you might act as the calm mediator in a situation where emotions could easily run high. However, the story doesn't stay smooth for long. The Five of Wands introduces friction, competition, conflicting opinions, or ego clashes. This could look like coworkers pushing back once you're recognized, friends disagreeing on how things should move forward, or inner conflict where different desires compete for your attention. Not all of this tension is negative. Some of it sparks growth. Think brainstorming debates, creative rivalry, or learning to assert yourself among strong personalities. The turning point arrives with the Ace of Swords. Clarity cuts through the noise. A truth is spoken. A decision is made, or a conversation finally happens that clears the air. This could be setting firm boundaries, articulating your vision, or realizing exactly what needs to be done next. For example, you might have an honest talk that resolves misunderstandings, or you may experience a sudden mental breakthrough that reframes the conflict entirely. Finally, the Four of Swords closes the narrative with rest and recovery. After the victory, the emotional labor, the conflict, and the decisive moment, you're encouraged to pause. Excuse me. This isn't giving up, it's integration. You may take time off, step back from the drama, or simply allow your mind and heart to settle. Healing, reflection, and quiet planning prepare you for what comes next. So overall, the theme tells a story of recognition earned, emotional mastery tested, conflict navigated, truth clarified, and rest deserved. It suggests that success isn't just about winning, it's about staying grounded, speaking clearly, and knowing when to stop and recharge. All right, so let's take a look at the second week, January. Messages, please, for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for week 2 of January. We got the 2 here, King of Wands and the Star. Messages, please. Cancer, week 2 of January. The Moon. 2 more, please. And we have the Sun. This is very interesting. The Star, the Moon, the Sun. Let's take a look and see what we have here. So the journey opens with the King of Wands, a figure of vision, confidence, and bold leadership. This is you, or someone influencing your path, stepping into a role of authority, driven by passion rather than fear. There's a sense of knowing where you want to go, even if the full map isn't yet visible. For example, this could be starting a creative project, taking charge in a group, or deciding to live more authentically, guided by instinct and inspiration. Then comes the Star, a quiet but powerful counterbalance. After asserting your will, hope and healing enter the picture. This card suggests renewal, faith in the future, and trust in the bigger picture. You may find reassurance through a sign, a supportive conversation, or simply the feeling that you're finally aligned with something meaningful. Even if progress feels slow, the Star reminds you that you're moving in the right direction. Yet the path isn't without shadows. The Moon brings uncertainty, illusions, and emotional undercurrents. Doubt creeps in, old fears, subconscious patterns, or mixed signals that may cloud your judgment. For instance, you might question your leadership abilities, misinterpret someone's intentions, or feel torn between intuition and anxiety. This card asks you to sit with the unknown rather than force clarity too soon. Gradually, the fog lifts with the sun. Truth, warmth, and confidence return. What was confusing becomes obvious. What felt heavy becomes lighter. This could manifest as a groundbreaking conversation, a successful outcome, or a renewed sense of self-belief. Relationships improve, plans move forward, and joy feels more accessible. You're reminded that authenticity and openness brings the greatest rewards. And then the week closes with the Page of Swords, signaling curiosity, communication, and a fresh mental perspective. Having moved through leadership, hope, doubt, and clarity, you now approach the world with a learner's mind. You may ask questions, share ideas, or begin a new dialogue. For example, you might research a new direction, speak your truth more openly, or stay alert for new information that helps refine your vision. So basically, this week tells a story of inspired leadership, tempered by hope, tested by uncertainty, illuminated by truth, and carried forward by curiosity. It suggests that even confident paths include moments of doubt, and that clarity doesn't end the journey. It invites new questions and conversations. So let's have a look at the third week of January. Messages, please, for Cancer, third week of January. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Messages, please. We need 5 cards. There's one. Flipped over, actually. We have World. We actually had 3 cards fall out, Hierophant, and then the 10 of Swords. 2 more, please. And we have the 2 of Pentacles and 1 more card. One more piece. And the 5 of Cups. Alrighty, let's take a look and see what's going on with this. Alright, so this week opens with the World, signaling completion, mastery, and the end of a significant cycle. Something reaches its natural conclusion. You've learned what you needed to learn, gone as far as you can go, and achieved a sense of wholeness. This could be finishing a long-term project, ending a relationship that taught you profound lessons, graduating from a phase of life, or finally feeling done with an old identity. Following this sense of completion comes the Hierophant, suggesting that what you do next is shaped by tradition, belief systems, or external expectations. You may seek structure after closure, turning to familiar routines, spiritual guidance, cultural norms, or advice from authority figures. For example, after a major ending, you might return to school, lean on religious or spiritual practices, follow family expectations, or try to do things the right way because it feels safer than the unknown. And then the narrative takes a sharp turn with the Ten of Swords. Despite doing everything by the book, there's a painful ending or realization that feels abrupt or even betraying. This could represent burnout, a final emotional blow, or the moment you realize a system, belief, or commitment has failed you. For instance, you may recognize that conforming didn't protect you, or that staying loyal to a tradition cost you more than it gave back. The pain is real, but this card also marks the absolute end. There is nowhere further down to fall. In the aftermath, the Two of Pentacles shows you trying to regain balance. Life doesn't pause for grief, so you juggle responsibilities, emotions, or decisions. You may be weighing options, whether to stay or leave, rebuild or start over, prioritize stability or flexibility. Practically, this could look like managing finances after a loss, balancing emotional healing with daily obligations, or experimenting with new routines to see what fits. And then the week closes with the Five of Cups, a card of grief, regret, and emotional processing. You're mourning what didn't work out and what was lost, sometimes focusing more on the spilled cups than what remains. All right? Yet not everything is gone. There is still something worth salvaging, even if you're not ready to see it yet. For example, you may grieve a broken promise or a missed opportunity, while slowly realizing that wisdom, resilience, or a new path remains intact. So overall, this week speaks of completion, followed by disillusionment, then the slow human work of emotional recovery. It suggests that even when you do everything right, loss can occur, but that grief is not failure. It's part of recalibration, and something meaningful stands behind you waiting for acknowledgement when you're ready. All right, so let's have a look at the fourth and final week of January. And again, this is Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the final week of January. This is the Sleeping Lord. That's the first card. And we have the Spirit King. And one to come out. The Seeker. Two more, please. Grail Maiden. And one last card, please. And more for Cancer. And that is the Lady of the Lake. All right. So we have our cards. Let's take a look and see the story they tell. So this week begins with the Sleeping Lord, a symbol of dormant power, unrealized potential, or a part of you that has withdrawn to heal. Something important is not gone, it is resting. This could represent a dream that you've set aside, confidence you've lost touch with, or leadership energy that has gone quiet after hardship. Like a king beneath the hill, this force waits for the right moment to awaken. For example, you may feel uninspired lately, yet beneath the surface, your strength is rebuilding. From this stillness, lay that flat. We got a bump in the cloth. Okay, so from this stillness emerges the Spirit King, embodying action, authority, and decisive will. This is the moment when leadership returns, but it's sharper now, more deliberate. Where the sleeping Lord held potential, the Spirit King acts. You may be called to set boundaries, defend your values, or take a direct stand. This could look like asserting yourself in a tense conversation, making a firm decision after hesitating, or stepping into responsibility where others won't. Yet the narrative softens with the seeker. It reminds you that action alone isn't enough. This archetype represents curiosity, humility, and the willingness to admit that you don't have all the answers. Even as you lead or decide, part of you is still searching for meaning. You might explore new philosophies, ask difficult questions about your path or travel, literally or emotionally, to understand what truly matters. This card suggests that growth comes from inquiry, not certainty. And then appears the Grail Maiden, a guardian of the heart and sacred purpose. She offers healing, emotional truth, and the reminder that what you seek must align with your values. This may show up as a meaningful relationship, a creative calling, or a moment of compassion that recenters you. For instance, you might realize that success without emotional fulfillment feels hollow, or that caring for yourself or others is part of your true quest. The journey culminates with the Lady of the Lake, a powerful figure of mystery, intuition, and divine guidance. She represents forces beyond logic, such as synchronicity, intuition, and spiritual intervention. At this stage, you're asked to trust what emerges from the depths rather than control the outcome. This could mean receiving unexpected help, letting go of an old identity, or accepting a calling that feels both terrifying and destined. Like a sword rising from the water, clarity comes not from effort, but from surrender. So overall, this tells a mythic story of power that rests, awakens, seeks meaning, opens the heart, and ultimately aligns with something greater than ego. Excuse me. It suggests that your path forward isn't just about reclaiming strength, but about allowing wisdom, compassion, and intuition to guide how that strength is used. So, Cancer, I hope you found this interesting or helpful. I ask that you please give it a like and share. We'd like to get the message out to others. If you want to know when I will be loading up new content, just subscribe, hit the notification button, that'll let you know. And otherwise, thank you again for joining me, and take care. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.